This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Ready to live, how this Nova Scotia woman fought and won her battle for lymphedema surgery.
Long wait lists. Hundreds of Halifax families scramble to find after-school childcare.
And business boost. Sydney shops hope moving the community college downtown will revitalize the district.
An incoming cold front will bring a big change throughout the day on Friday with winds shifting to the northwest. Your full forecast is coming up.
Nova Scotia woman who applied for medical assistance and dying after years of being denied out-of-province care is now on the road to recovery.
Jennifer Brady recently had surgery south of the border to treat her lymphedema. It was paid for by the provincial government. The CBC's Angela McIver has documented her journey and brings us the latest.
Perfect. Thank you.
For Jennifer Brady, this marks the turning point in a 6-year fight for her life. She's headed to New Jersey for surgery, something health officials previously blocked.
It's been, a constant battle to get here that just felt like there was constantly new hoops to jump through.
Exactly 1 year ago, Brady went public with her application for medical assistance in dying, also known as MAID. At the time, she was in physical pain, but she was also severely depressed, mostly because she had nowhere to turn for treatment. Brady has lymphedema, a chronic disease that causes extreme fluid buildup in her legs. After applying for out-of-province care and being denied twice, she filed a judicial review in 2022 alongside Crystal Ellingson. She has a condition called lymphedema and was also denied care. In both cases, the Department of Health required a referral from a Nova Scotia specialist, but at the time, no such doctors existed. Last October, a judge sided in their favor, which then prompted the Premier to apologize and make an immediate commitment.
On the financial side, we make them whole on the expenses and any further treatments that they're covered for that.
Brady's surgery finally became real in mid-July when she made the trip to New Jersey. The cost of getting there, along with the procedure itself, all paid for by the province. When it came to traveling between medical appointments and meals, though, she was on her own.
So even once you jump the hoops of getting approved and getting somewhere for care, God help you once you get there because it's really expensive.
At the same time, she is grateful to receive a level of care she didn't think existed.
So nice to see you.
It's so good to see you.
Thank you so much.
How are you doing? Please have a seat.
Thank you.
Dr. Joseph Diane is a world expert in lymphedema care based in New Jersey. He's doing procedures every week that don't occur in Nova Scotia and are rare in the rest of Canada.
When you see a patient that's actually their life's been transformed, they've actually had a real improvement, a sustained improvement that's improved their lives, not just their lives, but their families' lives. Like they become kind of part of our family. It's a huge gift.
Dr. Diane performed a successful lymph node transplant on Brady. Now she's back home in Halifax, moving around better than expected, enjoying time with her 2 children. She no longer wants to die.
I feel much more hopeful for a life going forward that is one that is meaningful to me. It's really scary thinking and looking back that I was in such a dark place, that I was contemplating that.
Nova Scotia now has a new review process for complex cases, and the Auditor General has begun a formal review of the department that handles out-of-province care, all thanks to Brady's fight. Angela McIver, CBC News, Halifax.
A new report from a Montreal-based think tank shows that last year, almost 10% of patients waiting in a Nova Scotia emergency department left without being treated. That's higher than the national average of 7.8%. The report found that the rate for Nova Scotia has not changed much in the last 3 years and remains notably higher than where it was before the COVID-19 pandemic. Nova Scotia's health minister says she hopes recent steps will help bring down the number of people who leave out of frustration because of how long they're waiting.
In the emergency room itself, we have a number of places that have rapid assessment zones. We have virtual urgent care, virtual emergency care, and we also have a number of primary care options in community. Sometimes people go to the emergency room with low acuity because there's nowhere else for them to go. So we continue to look at ways that we can support people in staying there.
Several solutions recommended by the report are steps the government is already taking, such as expanding the scope of practice for pharmacists and nurse practitioners.
Premier Tim Houston says his government will intervene in the regulatory review of Nova Scotia Power's proposed rate increases. He made the comments on the same day the utility made its formal application for a 3.9% increase to the residential rate next year and the year after. That's slightly lower than what they had initially proposed earlier this month, but Houston says now is not the time for rate increases. He says part of the reason he wants to see offshore wind developed in Nova Scotia is to get ahead of the problem of rising energy costs.
With the makeup of our grid right now, we've seen a lot of rate fluctuation, with the fuel adjustment mechanism and stuff. So the wind will produce stability. It tends to be more expensive right now. It could come down over time, but as I say, I think we can adjust the mix and get offer some hope to Nova Scotians that in the medium to long term rates can stabilize and ultimately come down.
Offshore wind generation is not cheap. Based on the province's estimates, it will cost 2 to 3 times more to produce offshore energy than the new onshore wind projects starting to come online in Nova Scotia. Houston says he expects the cost of production for offshore to come down over time.
The cabinet minister who will decide whether the public gets to see a report from a panel on environmental racism says he still has not read it more than a year after it was delivered to government. Tim Holman says he wants to hear panelists' perspectives on the best path forward, but stops short of committing to following their wishes.
Whatever they suggest to me and the other ministers in that meeting will take under advisement. We highly respect the opinion and the advice, and then we'll go from there.
Opposition leaders say Holman's approach lacks the seriousness the issue deserves.
I think the minister said the quiet part out loud. He's been busy preparing for the legislature. And, I suppose in the world of our Minister of Environment, preparing for the legislature doesn't include actually reading or acting on important reports that were commissioned by his own government.
I think that it's not a priority for this government. I think they don't want to release it before the legislature.
MLAs are scheduled to return to Province House for the fall sitting on Tuesday.
The province is lifting restrictions on travel and activities in wooded areas across Nova Scotia, except in Annapolis County. The Long Lake wildfire burning there is still being held, just shy of an estimated 8,500 hectares, with no new reports of damage. Restrictions in Annapolis County will remain in place until October the 15th or until conditions allow. Today's announcement applies to Cumberland, Hants, Lunenburg, Kings, Queens, Shelburne, Digby, and Yarmouth counties. The change came into effect at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Restrictions were lifted in the other 9 counties previously. And Ryan Snoddon now to talk weather with us.
So a bit of good news in what's been a very dry summer and some showers today as well.
Yeah, a few showers today. Again, not enough. That's basically the theme, right? Any little showers we've been seeing have not been enough. But yes, certainly as conditions continue to cool, nice to see some of those restrictions being lifted. Now, as we look at the forecast for Friday, we're looking at temperatures into the high teens and low 20s. It's going to be a pretty cloudy day overall. We're going to see some showers in the mix. The best chances are going to be Cape Breton and across into the eastern parts of the mainland, with a very slight risk towards the valley and the South Shore. And it does look like we'll stay rain-free for the Tri-County area. The clouds will be in the mix pretty much from the get-go, but some sunshine early in the day tomorrow. Then that front comes throughout the afternoon. The winds shift to northwest, and on the other side of that front, it is going to feel a lot like fall. It doesn't officially arrive until Monday, but Saturday is going to feel really like that crisp fall day. Temperatures are going to be into the mid-teens across the province. A few showers in Cape Breton, otherwise lots of sun. Sunday feeling a little more summer-ish. Temperatures into the high teens, even a couple of low 20s. We'll talk about it with your full forecast details coming up.
All that coming up in just a few moments. Thanks Ryan.
Thank you.
Hundreds of families in the Halifax area are scrambling to find after-school childcare for their kids. Despite recent expansions to a before and after-school program, there are still nearly 1,800 students on the wait list. The CBC's Selena Alders reports.
Working mom of two, Kayla Chasson, says her kids are near the top of the wait list for the after-school program at Caldwell Road Elementary. But until they're able to get into the Excel program, she says finding someone to watch her children before she gets home from work has been a struggle.
I'll do one day, my kid's dad will do another day, my mom comes in from an hour away, pulling from her job, and she's doing 3 days a week for us.
Chasson is not alone. About 1,800 students in the Halifax area have also been waitlisted for the program. To keep up with increasing demand, the Halifax Regional Centre for Education added more than 500 spaces this year. But for parents like Ruby Erker, that's still not enough.
The government or the school system is going to have to figure out a way to support the working families.
She's hoping to get an after-school spot for her 4-year-old daughter. But in the meantime, she's had to work from home and hire a part-time nanny to fill in the gaps.
You want the economy to grow, people have to work. And if people are staying at home or people are struggling to keep their jobs or not able to progress in their career because of trying to balance it all, then that's sort of the trade-off we have to accept too.
Chasson also believes there should be more support for working families and might soon be faced with a difficult decision.
If we don't find an alternative or if we don't end up getting a spot, I mean, it sounds extreme, but the only option would be for me to drastically cut back my hours, which isn't really possible in my position. So if someone has to leave their career, it's going to end up being the mom, or me, or the woman in most cases.
An HRCE spokesperson declined an interview, but says staffing remains the largest barrier to further expanding the program. She says the waitlist will continue to fluctuate throughout the school year, and more spaces will be added should staffing allow it. Selena Alders, CBC News, Halifax.
Excitement has been building with local businesses in Sydney ever since the community college announced it was moving downtown. Many saw it as potential for a thriving district that has not been experienced in the area for a generation. More than a year since opening, the CBC's Kyle Moore hit the streets to find out what the move has meant for business.
It's been more than a year since the Nova Scotia Community College made the move to downtown Sydney. It was expected to bring more people to the city's core and generate revenue for businesses.
The faculty and the students would potentially have lunch or come to the pub, do some social gatherings and things like that. We're hoping to get a spin-off that way from the NSCC.
Arden Mofford is the owner of a pub and eatery just steps away from the college. He says the summer and start of September have been busy, but it's not clear how much of that traffic is coming from the college.
They don't just come in and say, hey, we're from the NSCC. So I would say after the fall of the year, you'll see what kind of impact it will have on us.
Philippa Bryden is the executive director of the Sydney Downtown Development Association. She says most businesses are happy with the buzz and business the college has created.
It's been absolutely fantastic. The businesses are loving it. The student population are filling our streets. They're coming into our shops. They're participating in our festivals. It's really fantastic.
But it's not just businesses that are getting more traffic.
Yes, unfortunately, there are more vehicles now down in the downtown area. We have seen an increase in accidents and fender benders. Nothing major right now, but there has been an increase.
Constable Gary Fraser says police have been taking steps to make the area safer for everyone, including cameras that will soon be installed throughout the municipality.
If there's an incident happens on Charlotte Street or Commercial Street or in Dominion, we can see it on real time and we can follow the perpetrators from point A to point B, and we can be right behind them, and it'll make our job a lot easier that we can apprehend criminals quicker.
Keeping the downtown safe for a growing population of students while businesses hope to cash in. Kyle Moore, CBC News, Sydney.
If you are traveling between Halifax and Dartmouth this weekend, the McDonald Bridge will once again be closed. The closure starts Friday night at 8 o'clock, and the bridge won't open until Monday at 5:30 a.m. All lanes will close, including the bike and pedestrian lanes. Free Halifax transit passes are available for people who use those lanes at the McDonald Administration Building on Wise Road. The Mackay Bridge will remain open.
Well, we had some sun and we had some showers. Ryan will be back next to see what's next. We'll see you after the break.
This weather update is brought to you by Access Wellness Nova Scotia. Book your appointment today for free, confidential mental wellness support.
All right, let's get to your weather forecast now. And yeah, it's still summer on the calendar, but there's fall in the forecast, it appears.
Yes, it sounds like the temperatures this weekend are taking quite the dip.
Yeah, that's right. Especially Saturday, recovering Sunday and into Monday, which is the actual first day of fall. Will arrive Monday afternoon. And some changes to the 7-day forecast for next week, where it was looking like we were going to maybe build those temperatures again. Now it looks like a front will come through, bringing some much needed showers. So I think it's a pretty good trade-off, given how badly we need that wet weather. Have a look first at this beautiful shot. Churro. Beautiful evening.
Pretty sky behind the buildings.
It really is. And the skies have been gradually clearing across the province over the last little bit, or the western areas at least, as that latest system starting to move off and further to the south and east, and we've been kind of sandwiched in between these couple of systems. Now, hopefully, my weather graphics, there we go, will cooperate. A little bit of delay there. Temperatures in Toronto right now, 20 degrees. Also 20 in Halifax and 18 in Sydney. We've got temperatures of 21 degrees at Bacaro and 20 in Yarmouth. Now, as we look at the current winds, generally in from the south today, sustained in the 10 to 20 range. Some gusts upwards of 30 at last check at Sydney. And as we look at the weather systems map and the satellite radar, you can see the clouds have been clearing here across the Tri-County area, the valley, into the South Shore region. Starting to see some breaks of sun in through Truro and eastern parts of the mainland. And these showers likely still will clip up and across Richmond County and into the Sydney region over the next few hours. So some good news there, because you folks need it as well. As we back things out, this frontal boundary holding hands with this next low here, which will track off to the north. This area of high pressure really reinforcing the cold air mass that's funneling in here. Churchill, just 12 right now. It's 5 in Iqaluit. It's 17 in Thunder Bay. And Toronto got to 25 today, but a cool down headed for the GTA and the Great Lakes as well. A cool down headed for us as well, as we mentioned. Temperatures tonight will be into the mid-teens. We'll see light winds, 15 to 17 degrees. Those southwest winds in and across Cape Breton, 20 gusting 30 to 40. Even into the overnight will be pretty steady from the southwest. Now, as we move into tomorrow, looks like the clouds are going to remain pretty stubborn. This model's a little more bullish on the clouds. The Canadian model showing maybe a few more sunny breaks in the mix, and I do think the potential is there for some sun early on in the day. The clouds will really thicken up as this front here approaches and comes in from the north. As that front does come in, the winds are going to shift to northerly. Amherst first. Note the temperature of just 15 by lunchtime, still into the 20s off to the south. And then temperatures will drop into the afternoon along the Northumberland shore, Cape Breton, into the high teens, low 20s to start the day or start the afternoon. You're falling certainly by supper time and into the valley and the Tri-County area. We'll really see those temps falling throughout the late afternoon and then around the Atlantic coastline as well. Some spotty showers still possible into Friday evening and into the overnight across the east as well. So these are your highs, but do note that they will fall a little bit into the afternoon here by a couple of degrees at least by supper time, likely into those mid-teens. So southwest winds will shift to northwest, 20 gusting to 40 for Cape Breton and across the Northumberland shore tomorrow. Similar temperature falls for the North Shore. Again, Amherst likely a high of 17 by late morning, down to 14, 15 degrees into the afternoon. Temperatures falling in through central areas throughout the afternoon as well. Here in the valley, we'll be seeing temperatures peaking 17 to 19, but falling into the mid-teens, and the South Shore hanging on to the 20s for most of the afternoon, but temperatures falling there as well. Saturday, with this northwest flow, cooler air coming in over the Gulf, which is still toasty warm. That'll spark some showers in Inverness and Victoria counties. Lots of sunshine for the rest of the mainland. Have a look at this. Temperatures generally 15, 16 degrees, but 13 onshore winds, Yarmouth, and in places like Halls Harbor and along that Bay of Fundy coastline, because the ocean temps are only 13, 14 degrees right now in the Bay of Fundy. High pressure continuing to dominate into Sunday, pretty quiet. And yes, Monday looking kind of summerish again for the first official day of fall near 20 degrees. We're going to build the clouds up for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Some showers on tap, much needed showers. So yeah, the temperature's taking a bit of a hit, Tom and Amy, but I think we'll take that trade off. And by the way, an update on Gabrielle coming with your viewer picture at the end of the show.
Okay. All right. Stay tuned for that. Okay. Thanks so much,
Thanks,
Ryan.
Thank you.
Well, a record-setting bird watcher is spending some time on Prince Edward Island this month.
He has seen the highest number of bird species ever spotted by a single person in Canada over the course of a year. The CBC's Nancy Russell chatted with him about his impressive feat.
Bruce DeLabio is one of the top bird watchers in Canada and a regular visitor to PEI. In 2023, DeLabio did what's called a big year, where people challenge themselves to identify as many birds as they can. And he set a new record with 480 species across Canada, including a couple of unique birds that he observed here on PEI.
Well, it takes a lot of effort, and you're basically even though you're not out birding all the time, you're thinking about it, 24/7, and you're covering. Canada's a large country, so there's lots of areas that you have to visit.
DeLabio has been a birder since the age of 7 and first came to PEI on a family trip in 1974. He tried a couple of big years before he succeeded.
But a number of these species are only seen for like an hour, half a day, or it's in the middle of nowhere, and by the time you fly to a location, the bird's already gone.
PEI birders like Kathy Martin are excited to have a big year birder here on the island.
I think it's awesome. I mean, it's a record that's held for several years and probably several years to come. So very impressive. It's Canada is not a species-rich country. It's a cold country in terms of biodiversity. It's a lot of area to cover, a lot of different habitats, and a lot of hard work to get that many species in one year.
DeLabio is considering doing another big year.
I would love to do one, maybe when I turn 70. It takes a lot of time and effort, and you have to be totally committed. So, if you're, married, have kids, grandkids, and all that, it becomes a juggling act, to say the least.
Bruce DeLabio has already observed 125 different species of birds over the last 2 weeks here on PEI, just an average vacation for one of Canada's top birders. Nancy Russell, CBC News, Cove Head.
Coming up, the future is undecided for the Halifax grain elevator as the Port of Halifax plans to expand.
The planned expansion of the Port of Halifax is raising questions about the future of the grain elevator here. And for more on this, I'm joined by Kim Batherson, President and CEO of Halifax Grain Elevator Limited. So what are your concerns? I understand that your lease runs out at the end of next year. How are you feeling, first of all?
Well, a little uncertain, really. Our lease does run out at the end of next year. We've been in talks with the Port of Halifax as to what a new lease may look like. However, we have no answers right now. We don't know. They want to infill the berth that we use to export our wood pellets and soybeans, and which is about half of our business, to be honest. And if that goes away, I don't think we'll be able to continue as a viable business. And so a lot of our customers are raising concerns about planning, for their future. And are we going to be able to still do what we do here? So there's really, everything is up in the air right now. And all I have from the port is a commitment to work on solutions. However, nothing has been decided as of yet. And the time is ticking.
In terms of dollar figures and quantity, what moves through here every year?
So in 2024, we handled approximately 500,000 metric tons of commodities in and out of the grain elevator. So we would bring products in by rail car, by vessel, by truck, and then we would store it for a certain amount of time, and then we would ship it back out again the same way, either onto a truck, onto a vessel, into containers, or into rail cars. And so it's just constantly moving in and out from point A to point B. And we also supply the local flour mill that's run by P&H Milling. They store all of the raw material here for their flour milling operation, and they're very concerned too about this port expansion and what it's going to mean for their business. So there's a lot of stakeholders that are very concerned right now, and I think there's a lot of conversations going on. But I mean, the port is saying, well, we don't have the money. We don't have the money to facilitate an upgrade to the grain elevator to allow us to also do our expansion of the container terminal. And so my question is, well, can we ask the federal government, the provincial government, any other, but it's not for me to ask those questions, it's for the port, since they are the owners, the managers of this asset.
What would be the cost of doing that? Do you have any idea?
Well, it would be certainly in the millions, like it could be $50 million, I'm not sure. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money for a private business owner that holds a lease for this facility too. So it wouldn't be for us to pay for that. I believe it would be for the port or for, the government to realize the importance of this asset here for Atlantic Canadians and decide, what the future's going to be. So our hands are a little bit tied, but I mean, we're certainly willing to be part of the solution, and we want to be part of the solution. I feel like we can go and help bring investors in, help grow the business and all that, but with the uncertainty hanging over our heads, it's hard to do that.
Should this not be viable a year from now or at the end of 2026, what kind of loss would that be to the region in your mind?
Oh, I think it would be enormous because, number one, the flour mill probably would pull out of Halifax. And so if you think about what the flour mill does, they make flour. They supply that flour to 85% of the commercial bakeries in Atlantic Canada. So the price of something you buy, like a pie or bagels that are produced here in Atlantic Canada, is going to go up because that flour is going to have to be sourced from Ontario or Quebec. Same thing for the forest producers. The company that produces the wood pellets here and exports them through our facility probably would go out of business.
And there's no other spot in HRM that this could go?
Absolutely not. There's no other spot really in Atlantic Canada. And, the wood pellet producers could export out of New Brunswick, but it's not very economical for them to truck their wood pellets from Nova Scotia all the way up to New Brunswick. It just wouldn't be viable. So it's a very serious issue. And I hope that the people that are in control of making the decisions realize that and realize how important it is, not just for us as a private company, but for the users of this facility and all the farmers. Like I think about the farmer that lives in Wolfville, has his farm down there, family farm, and he wants to truck his beans up to Halifax an hour away. Well, he's not going to make any money if he has to truck his beans to Montreal. So he'll rethink his decision on where his business will go,
Now, this is a massive structure on some really valuable land.
Yes.
Would it be torn down? What would happen?
I don't think, I mean, this structure's been here since 1924. I don't think it would be reasonable to think you could tear this down easily. It would be, I think, it's too close to, neighboring houses and apartment buildings and whatnot, so I don't think it makes sense to actually move this. There are solutions. There's absolutely solutions that can happen, but they're going to take money. So somebody that has the decision-making power to decide where this money is going to be spent, that's up to them.
One to watch for sure. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Amy. Appreciate it.
Coming up, pulling the plug. ABC's suspension of Jimmy Kimmel's late night show is raising questions about censorship at the network.
And strengthening ties. Canada's Prime Minister is in Mexico, hoping to expand trade between the two countries. Welcome back. The suspension of Jimmy Kimmel's late night show has sparked a firestorm of reaction. ABC pulled the plug indefinitely after the American host's comments related to Charlie Kirk's killing.
Many Republicans, including Donald Trump, have cheered the decision, but Democrats are calling it a dangerous threat to free speech. Katrina Roman has the latest from Washington.
We're still trying to wrap our heads around the senseless murder of the popular podcaster. And
Senate Democrats say this is a classic move of a despot, that President Donald Trump had a chance to bring the nation together after Charlie Kirk was killed, and instead is using the tragedy to double down on targeting and silencing his critics.
Essentially saying that any media actor that doesn't say what Trump wants them to say about Charlie Kirk or Trump's policies is going to be silenced. That's censorship.
Even though freedom of speech is the very first amendment in the American Constitution, Democrats are going to introduce a free speech bill to specifically outline a court defense for people the government goes after. Because critics warn the First Amendment itself isn't just threatened, it's dead.
There was an order from the state about what people must say. Jimmy Kimmel did not say that, and his corporation was threatened with consequences by a government official. This is not cancel culture, because it's not culture. It's state repression. It's an order from the government. Here's the script you must read. If you do not read it, you will be taken off the air.
It might have been more of an implied order than a direct one, but the chilling effect is the same. That said, President Trump had a similar defense to when he reacted to the canceling of Stephen Colbert's show by CBS.
Jimmy Kimmel is not a talented person. He had very bad ratings, and they should have fired him a long time ago. So, you can call that free speech or not. He was fired for lack of talent.
The Trump administration and its allies argue the killing of Charlie Kirk was an attack on free speech because some people didn't like what Kirk had to say. But it seems getting Kimmel yanked off the air is okay because he said things they didn't like Federal Communications Commission Chairman Brendan Carr, a Trump appointee and ally.
It was appearing to directly mislead the American public about a significant fact of probably one of the most significant political events we've had in a long time.
The FCC regulates and licenses broadcast TV in the U.S. Carr said local broadcasters don't want to be forced to air a show that is not in their community's interests, as if the local affiliates are not owned by corporations, two of which also happen to be looking to merge, which requires federal approval. Meanwhile, on his way back from the UK today, Trump mused that perhaps the networks that come out against him should lose their licenses. Karina Roman, CBC News, Washington.
Donald Trump has wrapped up his UK visit. After 2 days of pomp and deals, he held a press conference with the British Prime Minister, in which the two leaders largely dodged questions on the thorny issues. The CBC's Chris Brown has more.
The Red Devils dropped in on Donald Trump and Keir Starmer as the U.S. president's state visit turned to business with the signing of deals on artificial intelligence and nuclear reactors. There was some cringe-worthy flattery.
He's a tough negotiator. I think it was a better deal for you than us.
But confronting the media was the big test of this visit for two leaders who differ on significant issues, notably the war in Gaza. Britain plans to recognize a Palestinian state next week.
We absolutely agree on the need for peace and a roadmap because the situation in Gaza is intolerable.
Trump, who says he's the greatest friend Israel has ever had, disagreed, but fairly politely.
So I have a disagreement with the Prime Minister on that score. Okay? One of our few disagreements, actually.
On Ukraine, Trump's friendly relationship with Russia's Vladimir Putin is another contentious point.
He's let me down. He's really let me down.
If that's so, why not hit Russia with much harder sanctions was the question. Trump said Europe must stop buying Russian oil first.
If I may, the elephant in the room.
On Starmer's recent firing of Lord Peter Mandelson as the U.S. ambassador because of his historic ties to sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, who Trump also associated with, Trump deflected.
Thank you very much, sir.
I don't know him, actually. I had heard that, and I think maybe the Prime Minister would be better speaking of that. That was a choice that he made, and I don't know. What is your answer to that?
Well, I mean, it's very straightforward. Some information came to light last week which wasn't available when he was appointed.
But that was about as awkward as things got. The King and Queen, who Trump called fantastic people, said their goodbyes, and so did the Starmers, with smiles all round. Donald Trump appeared to bask in the royal color and spectacle that was rolled out for him, which may explain why there were no sharp words. For Keir Starmer, having Trump leave happy was what this visit was all about. Chris Brown, CBC News, London.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is in Mexico for a two-day visit. Both countries are preparing for the renewal of their trade agreement with the United States. But Carney and Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum are also looking to strengthen trade between Canada and Mexico. The CBC's Evan Dyer has more.
Well, any lingering tensions between Canada and Mexico appear to have dissipated somewhat. Of course, there was a rocky period after President-elect Trump in November last year first said that he was going to impose tariffs on both countries, and some Canadian politicians reacted by suggesting that Mexico should be cut out of CUSMA, the deal that replaced NAFTA, and that Canada should negotiate a separate arrangement bilaterally with the United States. Since then, there's been an effort to smooth things over. We saw Prime Minister Mark Carney invite President Claudia Sheinbaum to the G7 in Alberta. We also saw a couple of visits here by the Canadian Foreign Minister, the Canadian Finance Minister, and by Alberta Premier Danielle Smith, who was one of those who had made comments that upset Mexico. So there is an appetite for talks on some serious matters that are facing both countries and for taking common positions. Both, of course, are facing a review of CUSMA next year. And that trade deal is under a great deal of pressure already from the United States. Both expect this to be a difficult negotiation, with Washington trying to extract concessions from them. So it's in their common interest to negotiate common positions and strategies. But they both also know, of course, that they can't depend on the United States. So both are looking to diversify their trade, and it makes sense to diversify with each other. Of course, NAFTA and then CUSMA were primarily, from both Canada and Mexico's point of view, about getting access to the neighboring market, the immediate neighbor for both of them, the United States, the big market in NAFTA, and to some extent perhaps neglecting the opportunity to trade with each other. This morning we heard President Claudia Sheinbaum saying that Mexico wants to change that. Mexico is quite a bit further along than Canada in upgrading its infrastructure, roads, rail, seaports and airports. And in fact, the concern in Mexico is that its Canadian ports might not be able to handle the volume of trade that Mexico has in mind for this future trading relationship. And in fact, Mexican officials have even discussed the possibility of direct Mexican involvement in an expansion of the ports of Montreal and Vancouver to be able to handle the kind of traffic that they're hoping to have with Canada in the future. Evan Dyer, CBC News, Mexico City.
CBC News is learning more about the hunt for a suspected Canadian drug lord thought to be hiding in Mexico. Ryan Wedding, once a Team Canada Olympian, is listed as one of the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives. Thomas Daigle reports.
What we have learned is Mexico has assigned their own federal agents to hunt for Canadian fugitive Ryan Wedding. He was once an Olympic snowboarder on Team Canada. Wedding is now one of the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives, with U.S. authorities offering a $10 million reward for information leading to his arrest. He's accused of running a transnational criminal enterprise, smuggling truckloads of fentanyl and cocaine across North America, and the FBI has suggested Wedding may be hiding in Mexico under the protection of the notorious Sinaloa cartel. Now, a U.S. State Department official told me earlier this year cartel figures and government officials had been conspiring to help Wedding evade capture, but now agents from Mexico's Attorney General's office, known as the FGR, they have confirmed to CBC News that they are on the hunt for that Canadian fugitive. About a year ago, Wedding's right-hand man, fellow Canadian Andrew Clark, was arrested in the Guadalajara area in an operation involving the same agency, FGR, as well as the Mexican Navy and Interpol. So it is likely now that the Navy and Interpol are both also involved in the active search for Wedding. The FBI has focused its information gathering efforts on a region in particular in central Mexico, surrounding Mexico City. The FBI suspects there may be people in that area who have information about Wedding's whereabouts. He's 6'3", may have had plastic surgery to conceal his looks, according to the FBI. But this former investigator I spoke with says Wedding will be captured sooner or later.
They will get him eventually, through investigation. And, sometimes they'll have an informant that, comes across Wedding, for example, in Mexico, or the local authorities. If he is in Mexico, he's going to stand out.
U.S. prosecutors want Wedding extradited to face charges related to cocaine trafficking and murder. His network has been linked to 4 killings in Ontario alone, and authorities suspect there could be more elsewhere. Thomas Daigle, CBC News, Toronto.
The company behind ChatGPT is introducing changes to protect kids who use it. It comes after an American teen died by suicide after discussing it with the artificial intelligence software. But while experts say better protections for kids are necessary, the changes also pose major privacy risks for users. Nicole Williams reports.
What began as a homework helper gradually turned itself into a confidant and then a suicide coach.
Matt Rain testifying this week before a U.S. Senate subcommittee looking into the harms of AI chatbots. Rain and his wife are currently suing company OpenAI after their 16-year-old son Adam died by suicide in April after having conversations with its program ChatGPT.
When Adam worried that we, his parents, would blame ourselves if he ended his life, ChatGPT told him, that doesn't mean you owe them survival. You don't owe anyone that. Then, immediately after, offered to write the suicide note.
OpenAI is now promising changes to how kids can use the program. It's introducing parental controls, which will allow parents to link their accounts with their teens to help guide how ChatGPT responds to them. It says it will also roll out a system to automatically identify users younger than 18 and limit what ChatGPT shows them. If it's unclear how old you are, it'll presume you're a minor. And if you're older, you'll have to prove it by uploading a piece of ID.
It's like asking the fox to guard the henhouse. We don't allow other industries, consumer companies and other industries to self-regulate, nor should we allow tech to continue to do this.
We don't know what they're going to be doing with this data.
This is one of several tech experts flagging the possible privacy risks with these new changes.
There's great risk of data misuse. And how about, breaches?
And there's another thing. OpenAI says it would also contact a child's parents, even the authorities, if it feels the risk of self-harm is imminent.
One of the big concerns with AI is the monitoring and the surveillance piece. In order for them to do that, they're going to need to monitor the communication that's occurring between that person and the tool.
On its website, OpenAI says it knows some of these changes compromise privacy for adults, but believe it's a worthy trade-off for child safety. Nicole Williams, CBC News, Toronto.
A big announcement from the world of curling. Canada's golden boy of the rink, Brad Gushue, has announced his retirement from the sport. He posted the news on social media.
To the people of Newfoundland and Labrador, to the fans and supporters all across Canada, and to the curling community around the world, I wanted to announce that this will be my final year in competitive curling.
The Newfoundland and Labrador skip is a 2-time Olympic medalist, and he's won more national men's championships than anyone else in the sport. Gushue says he wants to spend more time with his family and will put down his stone for the last time at the end of this curling season. His final brier takes place in his hometown of St. John's in February.
This weather update is brought to you by Access Wellness Nova Scotia. Book your appointment today for free, confidential mental wellness support.
All right, well, we've had 2 nights in a row with the viewer picks from Cape Breton. Wonder where we're going tonight.
We should lay odds. Say the Valley?
Good guess.
Okay.
In that direction,
All
but of course. Actually, just outside of Lunenburg. First Peninsula is where we're headed. And actually, this was taken this morning. And Craig May, very fresh, right off the bus.
Wow. Look
That's
at that
early
colors.
morning, isn't it?
Yes. Craig, up with the birds. Love it. Beautiful shot, beautiful sky. Love the reflection. So much going on here. Thanks to Craig. Ryan's picks at cbc.ca. As promised, an update on Gabrielle, which is a hurting unit right now. It's
kind of looks it.
She can't get organized, right?
There's not much going on. A little bit of convection there in the kind of the center left of your screen this afternoon, near kind of the center of the system. But it is struggling right now, and will continue to struggle over the next couple of days. If it can make it to Saturday, and that is actually an if, then it is expected to get into some favorable waters, some favorable atmospheric conditions. The good news is that you can see even the National Hurricane Center cone now spinning that well offshore. It will not be an issue for us, which is good news here. There's Friday's forecast, the wind shifting to northwest. We've got high teens, low 20s on tap for Friday, and we'll get right to that 7-day forecast. So Saturday will feel like fall. Sunday, fallish, late summerish, and then summer officially takes a bow on Monday as fall arrives in the afternoon with temperatures near 20 degrees and a pretty good chance for showers mid-next week.
All right, not bad at all. Thanks so much, Ryan. Well, Ontario Provincial Police are sharing what they are calling shocking video and details of an incident that could have caused a fatal collision on Canada's busiest highway.
The driver is now facing criminal charges of dangerous driving, failing to remain at the scene of a collision, and driving the wrong way on a divided highway.
Well, this is the dash cam footage. Keep your eyes on the center lane.
Police say a 21-year-old man was driving eastbound in the westbound lanes of Highway 401 in Milton, Ontario, northwest of Toronto. He sideswiped several vehicles and narrowly misses hitting another. He later crashed into a light pole.
Amazingly, no one was hurt. Police say they're still investigating whether the driver was sober at the time.
Talk about a close call there.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's it for us tonight. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Good night.
Good night.